In May 2024, the Toyota Motor Corporation admitted to a catastrophic engineering failure that officially marked the death of the modern reliable pickup truck. And if you're planning to buy a new truck to tow your RV or boat, you need to hear this before you sign anything. Why did the company famous for building indestructible million-mile engines suddenly recall over 100,000 Tundras and leave owners stranded on the side of the highway? Because the complex new technology that replaced the legendary V8 turned out to be a fatal engineering mistake that's costing people their life savings. And it's not just Toyota. Ford and General Motors are making the exact same catastrophic decisions, replacing simple, proven V8 engines with complex twin-turbo systems that literally cannot handle the heat of towing. Stick with me, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to expose the federal mandates that are forcing this disaster, show you the specific mechanical failures plaguing the 2026 lineup, and reveal the only trucks left on the market that are actually built to do real work instead of just looking pretty in your driveway. The story begins with the fall of the king. For 2 full decades, the Toyota Tundra with the 5.7-liter V8 was the absolute gold standard of reliability in the truck world. Was it thirsty? Yes. Was it old technology? Absolutely. But it was virtually indestructible. You could beat on that engine for 300,000 miles and it would keep running. But in 2022, Toyota made a decision that shocked the industry. They discontinued the V8 entirely and replaced it with a complex 3.5-liter twin-turbo V6. They promised buyers more power and better fuel economy, but what they actually delivered was a grenade with a warranty sticker. In 2024, Toyota issued a massive recall for over 100,000 trucks because machining debris was left inside the engine block during manufacturing. This metal debris blocked oil flow to the main bearings, causing the engines to seize and catastrophically fail, often with less than 30,000 miles on the odometer. Imagine buying an $80,000 truck, towing your family's camper across 3 states, and having the engine lock up on the highway because Toyota left metal shavings inside your block at the factory. That's not a quality control issue. That's a fundamental breakdown in engineering discipline. But here's what you need to understand. This is not just a Toyota problem. This is an industry-wide disaster being driven by one specific government entity, the Environmental Protection Agency. Under the current corporate average fuel economy standards, manufacturers are effectively being regulated out of building V8 engines for half-ton trucks. To meet these federal fuel economy requirements, engineers are being forced to downsize engine displacement and add turbochargers to make up the lost power. The result is an engine under immense thermal and mechanical stress. Think of it this way. A classic V8 towing a camper is like a weightlifter casually carrying a backpack. It's doing the work, but it's not breathing hard. A twin-turbo V6 towing that same camper is like a sprinter running at absolute full speed, while dragging a weighted sled behind them. It can do the work, and it might even do it faster, but it generates massive amounts of heat and cylinder pressure to accomplish it. Heat is the absolute enemy of engine longevity. When you're forcing 400 horsepower out of a small displacement engine, you are dramatically shortening the lifespan of every single gasket, seal, and bearing in that block. This is exactly why we're witnessing the death of the 500,000-mile truck. Look at General Motors. To keep their beloved V8 engines technically legal under EPA regulations, they installed a complex cylinder deactivation system called Dynamic Fuel Management. It uses computer-controlled lifters to shut off individual cylinders when they're not needed to theoretically save a fraction of a gallon of gas. But these lifters are mechanically prone to collapsing under load, which destroys the camshaft and requires a complete engine teardown to repair. We're seeing low-mileage Chevy Silverados and GMC Sierras sitting in service bays with bent push rods and completely destroyed valve trains, because the emission compliance system designed to satisfy government bureaucrats fundamentally compromised the mechanical reliability of the truck. And the repair? often $8,000 to $12,000 that insurance won't cover because it's classified as a mechanical failure, not an accident. Then there's Ford, and this one hurts because the F-150 is the best-selling vehicle in all of America. But it's plagued by what I call the 10-speed transmission disaster. The 10R80 transmission was specifically designed to keep the engine in its absolute most efficient RPM range at all times to squeeze out every possible mile per gallon for EPA testing. But real-world owners are reporting harsh shifting, randomly skipping gears, and catastrophic transmission failures, often just outside of the warranty period when Ford no longer has to pay for the repair. Ford has also struggled massively with the cam phasers on their 3.5-liter and 2.7-liter EcoBoost engines. These components rattle and fail prematurely, requiring a $3,000 repair bill that comes straight out of your pocket. So let me ask you this. Why are you being asked to pay $80,000 for a truck that is statistically less reliable than the one your father drove 20 years ago? Because the modern half-ton truck is no longer designed to be a tool. It's a luxury compliance vehicle. These trucks are engineered to pass an emissions test on a dynamometer in a controlled laboratory, not to tow your fifth-wheel camper across the Rocky Mountains for 10 consecutive years. Manufacturers have replaced cast iron reliability with plastic oil pans and complex sensors that immediately put your truck into limp mode if they detect even a slight variance in exhaust pressure. So if you actually need to tow a recreational vehicle or a boat, and you need a truck that won't leave you stranded, what's the solution? You have two realistic options. Option 1 is to step up to the heavy-duty class. 3/4 ton and 1-ton trucks, like the Ford F-250 or the Chevy 2500, are subject to completely different emissions regulations than half-ton trucks. This regulatory difference allows manufacturers to use engines that are actually built for sustained work. The absolute bright spot in this entire industry is the Ford 7.3-liter gas V8, affectionately known as Godzilla. Ford engineers went back to the drawing board and built a massive, simple pushrod V8 with no turbochargers and no cylinder deactivation nonsense. Is it fuel inefficient? Yes. Is it heavy? Absolutely. But it's built exactly like a commercial engine from the 1990s. It's one of the last true workhorse engines left on the American market, and mechanics who've torn these down say they're built to last. Option 2 is to reject the new truck market entirely. Just like with recreational vehicles, the smartest financial move is often to buy a truck from the pre-regulation era. A 2015 to 2020 Toyota Tundra with the 5.7-liter V8 will almost certainly outlast a brand new twin turbo model rolling off the dealer lot today. A Chevy Silverado made before active fuel management was installed, or a Ford F-150 made before the EcoBoost era offers a mechanical simplicity. You literally cannot buy new anymore. These older trucks don't have the fancy massage seats or the giant touchscreens, but they have something far more valuable: proven reliability. Here's what the manufacturers and dealerships desperately want you to focus on: massive touchscreens, heated and cooled seats, wireless phone charging, ambient lighting packages. They want you completely distracted from the fact that the engine hiding under that hood is working twice as hard to last half as long as the engine in your current truck. Do not trade in your paid-off, reliable V8 for a 6-year monthly payment on what's essentially a plastic science project with a bed. The 500,000-mile truck is dead in the new truck showroom, but it's still very much alive in the used market if you know exactly what to look for. And if this video just saved you from making a catastrophic $80,000 mistake, smash that like button and hit subscribe, because in our next investigation, I'm going to expose dealership service centers that are actively refusing to fix these failures and the specific warranty loopholes they're using to deny your legitimate claims. Now get out there and make a decision that protects your wallet and actually gets the job done.